Good morning, student. This is Professor Eknath Aire, Department of Pharmaceutics, currently working at Divine College of Pharmacy, Satana. Today, we are going to see about pharmaceutical jurisprudence and its regulatory affairs. In that, we will going to discuss about history of pharmacy and pharmaceutical legislation in India or ancient pharmaceutical legislation in India. Okay, so we will start from introduction. In the early part of the 20th century, there was practically no legislation control on drug as well as on the profession of pharmacy. Although although the Opium Act 1878, the Poison Act 1919, and the Dangerous Drug Act 1930 were in force, these were specific in nature and grossly inadequate in controlling the chaotic, chaotic condition prevailing at that time. In 1927, a resolution was passed by the Council of States to recommend to the Governor General in Council to uses all provisionals. The government to take immediate step to control indiscrim- indiscriminate use of drugs and to legislate for the standardization of the preparation and sale of the drugs. The government of India, in pursuance to the resolution, appointed a committee known as the Drug Inquiry Committee in India. About Drug Inquiry Committee, we will discuss in next lecture in detail. Okay, so overall history said that the ancient India or the Britishers Indian, uh, there were no any specific legislative condition over there, and because of that there is a not directly control of government onto the pharmaceutical legislation. Okay, so government of India on 11th of August 1930 appointed a committee under the chairmanship of late Colonel R.N. Chopra to see into the problems of pharmacy in India and recommended the measures to be taken. This committee published its report in 1931. It was reported that there was no recognized specialized profession of pharmacy. A set of people known as compounders filing were the filling the gap. So in ancient India, there there were no, not a pharmacist over there for the compounding and dispensing of the drug. Instead of that, compounders are there, and that person or so-called compounders were prescribed and compounding the drugs. Just after the publication of the report, Professor M.L. Srab, also known as Professor Mahadev, Mahadevalal Srab, initiated pharmaceutical education at the university level in the Banaras Hindu University, currently known as BHU. In 1935, United Providence Pharmaceutical Association was established, which later converted into the Indian Pharmaceutical Association, also known as or currently known as IPA, which is nowadays directly controls the all pharmaceutical field. Okay, in Indian Journal of Pharmacy, the Indian Journal of Pharmacy was started by Professor M.L. Sraf in 1939. All India Pharmaceutical Congress Association was established in 1940. The pharmaceutical defense held its sessions and different places to publicize pharmacy as a whole. 1957, Government of India brought import of drug bills. Later, it was withdrawn. Okay, they implemented, but after that or later on, it was withdrawal. 1940, government brought drug bill to regulate the import. manufacture, sale, and distribution of drugs in the British India. This bill was finally adopted as Drug Act of 1940, which is nowadays used by us. 1941, the first Drug Technical Advisory Board, which is also known as DTAB, under this act was constituted. Central Drug Laboratory was established in Calcutta. Calcutta. Nowadays, various different central drugs laboratory are there in India or present in India. In 1945, drug rule under the Drug Act of 1940 was established. Next one, the Drug Act has been modified from time to time, and at present, the provisions of the Act cover cosmetic and Ayurvedic, Unani and homeopathic medicine in some respects. 19, in 1940, government brought in pharmacy bill to standardize the pharmacy education in India. In 1946, the Indian Pharmacopoeia list was published under the chairmanship of late Colonel R.N. Chopra. It contains list of drugs in use in India at the time which were was not included in British Pharmacopoeia. In 1948, Pharmacy Act 1948 was published. In 1948, Indian Pharmacopoeia Committee was constituted under the chairmanship of late Dr. B.N. Ghosh. 1949, Pharmacy Council of India, which is also or the popularly known as PCI, was established under the Pharmacy Act 1948. 1954, education regulation have came into force in some states, but other states lagged behind. Okay, so it starting to regulated in some state of India, but still some state were not included in this. In 1954, Drug and Magic Remedies, or also known as Objectionable Advertisement Act 1954, was passed to stop misleading advertisement. For example, cure all pill means whomsoever will uh, will not advertise regarding the objectionable like a magical remedies medicines. Okay. In 1955, medicinal and toilet preparation, also called as Excise Duties Act 1955, was introduced to enforce uniform duty for all states for alcohol products. In 1955, first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia was published. After that, in 1985, Narcotic and Psychotropic Substances Act was has been enacted to protect society from the dangerous and addictive drugs. Government of India control the price of drugs in India by drug price order change from time to time. So this is the initial days of the pharmaceutical legislation in India. Before going to pharmaceutical ethics, I want to say one thing. The in detail part we will be discussing next lecture. Okay. Uh, Before that, we will discuss pharmaceutical ethics. What types of ethics are there, and as a pharmacist, which type of or which ethics we should maintain during our job, our trade, our medical profession, or our own profession. Okay, so we'll start from the introduction. Ethics may be defined as the code of moral principles. Okay, it is regarding all regarding your moral and ethics, or as a science of the morals. Okay, the conduct of individuals in any society is governed by the governmental controls as well as social customs and duties. The code of ethics framed by the Pharmacy Council of India is meant to guide the Indian pharmacist as to how he should conduct himself in relation to himself, his patrons, and the general public. co-professionals, and members of the medical and other health professions. Profession of pharmacy is a noble profession as it is indirectly he- healing the healing the persons to get well with the help of medical practitioners and other co-professionals. Government has restricted the practice of pharmacy to only profession pharmacist, that is registered pharmacist under the Pharmacy Act 1948. PCI framed the following ethics for Indian pharmacists, which may be categorized under the following headings. The category, uh, the categories of pharmaceutical ethics as below. First one, pharmacist in relation to his job. So, uh, during the our job, how we should act with other people's. This is regarding the relations with our job. Okay. Then second one is pharmacist in relation to his trade. During our trade, how should we act with another persons? Then third one is pharmacist in relation to the medical profession. Fourth one, pharmacist in relation to his own profession. Uh, Among them, we will start with first one or first category, which is pharmacist in relation to his job. A pharmacist should keep the following things in relation to his job. First one, pharmaceutical services. Uh, During providing pharmaceutical services, what type of care we should take? Pharmacy premises or medicine shop should be registered. Emergency medicines and common medicines should be supplied to the patient without any delay. Second one, conduct of pharmacy. Error of accidental contamination in the preparation, dispensing, and supply of medicine should be checked in a pharmacy. Third one, handling of prescription. A pharmacist should receive a prescription without any comment on it that may cause anxiety to the patient. No part of the prescription should be changed without the consent of the prescriber. In case of changing the prescription, should be referred back to the prescriber. You don't have to change any type of uh, prescription without permission of prescriber or the medical practitioner. Handling of drug. A prescription should always be dispensed correctly and carefully with standard quality drugs or the excipients. Drug, drug that have abusive potential should not be supplied to anyone. Okay, if drug having the ability to abuse the patient, so we should don't have to prescribe or provide like these drugs. Apprent, Apprentice pharmacist. Experienced pharmacists should provide all the facility for the practical training of the apprentice pharmacist until and unless the apprentice proves himself or herself, and after that certificate should not be granted him or her before he or her proves himself as a perfect for the job. Next one is pharmacist in relation to his trade. If pharmacist doing trade, then what kind of care he should be take? Following are the provisions which pharmacist should keep in mind while dealing with his trade. Price structure. The prices charged should be fair, keeping with the quality, quantity, and labor of the skill required. Fair trade practice. Fair practice should be adopted by a pharmacist in the trade without any attempt to capture other pharmacist business. If a customer bring a prescription by mistake, which should be genuinely uh, checked by some other pharmacy, the pharmacist should refuse to accept the prescriptions. If a prescription is wrong, then we should not accept it. Limitation of copying of the labels, trademarks, and other signs or symbols of other pharmacies should not be done. So we don't have to do any type of copy. Next one is purchase of drugs. Pharmacists should buy drugs from genuine and reputable sources or the approved vendors. Next one is advertising and displays. The sale of medicines or the medical appliances or display of material in under design or undignified style on the premises in the press or the elsewhere are prohibited. So pharmacists don't have to any right to uh, advertise any type of medicine. Next one is pharmacist in relation to medical profession. Following are the code of ethics of the pharmacist in relation to medical profession. Limitation of professional activity. The professional activity of the medical practitioner as well as the pharmacist should be confined to their own field only. Medical practitioner should not possess drugstores and pharmacists should not uh, diagnose disease and prescribe remedies. A pharmacist may, however, can deliver first aid to the victim in case of accident or emergency. Clandestine arrangement. A pharmacist should not enter into the secret arrangement or contract with an physician by offering him any commission or any advantages. Okay, so this is most important, and nowadays this is going on very badly. License with the public. A pharmacist should always maintain proper link between physician and the people. He should advise the physicians on pharmaceutical matters and should educate the people regarding health and hygiene. The pharmacist should be keep himself herself up to date with pharmaceutical knowledge from the various journals or publications. So, pharmacy it is our duty to keep up to date ourselves because this field is a research field or the medicinal field is always changeable field. So that's why we have to keep ourselves as a up to date. Any information acquired by the pharmacist during his professional activities should not be disclosed to any third party until and unless required to do so by law. So any type of information we don't have to share with the third party. Last one is pharmacist in relation to his own profession. So regarding to the profession, the following code of ethics should be fulfilled. First one is professional vigilance. A pharmacist must abide by the pharmaceutical laws and she should see that other pharmacists are abiding it. Okay. Then law abiding citizens. The pharmacist should have a fair knowledge of the law of the country pertaining to the food, drug, pharmacy, health and sanitation. In relation with professional organization, a pharmacist should be actively involved in professional organization, should advance the cause of the such organization. Decorum and propriety. A pharmacist should not indulge in doing anything that goes against the decorum and propriety of pharmacy profession. So this is all about pharmacy profession or the ethics regarding our pharmacy profession. So keep in your mind we should abide with this principle and ethics. Okay, then last one is pharmacist oath. So there is a signified and defined oath for us and we should abide with this oath. So every pharmacist should take this oath during his professional activities. So let's uh, revise the oath. Okay, so you have to also read this oath behind me. Okay, uh, so I will start. I promise to do all I can to protect and improve the physical and moral well-being of society, holding the health and safety of my community above other consideration. I shall uphold the laws and standards governing by the profession, avoiding all forms of misinterpretation, and I shall safeguard the distribution of medical and potent substances. Knowledge gained about patients I shall hold in confidence and never uh, divulge unless uh, compelled to do so by law. I shall strive to perfect and enlarge my knowledge to contribute to the advancements of pharmacy and the public health. I furthermore promise to maintain my honor in all transactions and by my my conduct never bring discredit to myself or to my profession, nor to my nor to do anything to diminish the truth repose in my professional breathing. May I prosper and live long in favor as I keep and hold to this my oath. But if violated, this sacred promises may be or may the reverse be my lot. So this is all about pharma, the pharmaceutical legislation history and pharmaceutical ethics. So uh, revise the chapter once again, and in next lecture we will see uh, about the committees. Okay, different types of committees over there. So we will discuss regarding that. Hmm, still, uh, okay, then thank you so much.